studios in Belize City, this is Love Television with your evening news for today, Wednesday, May 25th. We get started with the leading stories for the day. Another case of the Zika virus confirmed, this time in a pregnant woman. Senator Eamon Courtney speaks on recent talks in Turkey. Police officer reportedly kills himself. Belize's ombudsman takes up presidency of regional body, and former government minister Eligio Briceño laid to rest following official ceremony in Orange Walk town. Senator Eamon Courtney was a part of the Belize delegation led by Foreign Minister Wilfred Elrington, which held talks in Istanbul, Turkey, with their Guatemalan counterparts. As we reported yesterday, government revoked the SI limiting movement on the SARS tune after they said the talks proved fruitful. Today, Courtney was asked about the outcome of the recent meetings.
First of all, I think the most significant thing is that Belize and Guatemala have now agreed that it is necessary to have a protocol for the free navigation in the SARS tune, and the parties have agreed that they will start the negotiations very shortly after that protocol. As the Foreign Minister indicated during the course of the meeting, the basis on which Belize will start is that we have full sovereignty and territorial integrity over our side of the Sarstoon River as well as the Sarstoon Island, so that is the basis from which we will start. The second important thing is a sort of informal understanding from Guatemala that there will be free navigation even whilst we are negotiating. So we do not expect that the Guatemalan naval forces and military are going to continue to stop Belizeans or other people from using the Sarstoon River.
When do you say the Sarstoon, is it referring to only the northern channel or both channels as well?
Well, as you know, the 1859 treaty defines what is our territorial waters and what is our territory with respect to the Sarstoon, which is the below, south of Sarstoon Island and down the mid-channel, and what is on the north of it is ours. We will exercise our territorial rights and our sovereignty over that portion of it, and we do not expect the Guatemalan naval forces to enter into those waters unless they have to. As I understand it, there are some shallow parts where you will have to in your navigation, but other than that, we do not expect them to enter Belizean waters, nor do we expect them to attempt to stop anyone from using the waters. As you know, their argument is that they own the entire river. We of course reject that entirely, but that is a matter that we can't solve, nor can Guatemala solve. That can only be solved by the ICJ if and when we get there. But in the meantime, we intend to fully assert our right of sovereignty.
Courtney said it is important to see what happens now, since saying something in a diplomatic meeting is one thing, but it is necessary to see what occurs when Belizeans traverse our portion of the Sarstoon River. The Caribbean Public Health Agency, CARPHA, has confirmed another case of the Zika virus in Belize. In this case, the patient is a pregnant woman from the Cayo district. This morning, the ministry collected a sample from another pregnant woman with symptoms of the virus. The sample will be sent to CARPHA for further testing. The case was picked up through the heightened and strengthened vector-borne disease and vaccine-preventable disease surveillance, which now includes the monitoring of Zika, currently underway across the country. The Ministry of Health says vector control and public health officers, along with the staff from the epidemiology unit and maternal and child health departments, are actively engaged with the community and are further scaling up efforts in the monitoring of the Zika virus. The month of April saw higher food prices, which led to inflation of 0.1%. According to the latest figures from the Statistical Institute of Belize, the consumer price index was 102.9, up from 102.8 for the same period last year. The first 4 months of this year has seen an inflation rate of 0.2%. The main contributor to the increase was in the food and non-alcoholic beverages category, which saw an average increase of 1.1%. Food items saw a 1.5% increase, which is attributed to higher prices for beef, pork, eggs, fruits, and vegetables. Red kidney beans saw an average drop of 11%. The housing, water, electricity, gas, and other fuels category recorded a slight increase of 0.1% compared to last year. The transport category was down by 4.5%, while all other goods and services category rose by 1.5% as a result of a 9% increase in the average prices of insurance premiums and a 2.6% increase in the health category. Looking at the municipal level, Corozal remains the municipality with the highest inflation rate, where prices rose by 1.7%. Orange Walk Town followed with an inflation rate of 1.5%. Belmopan continues to record the lowest inflation rate at negative 1.4%. The figures for imports for the month of April show an increase of 7.2% or $11.3 million over last year's April figures. The total imports for April were valued at $168.9 million. Machinery and transport equipment was the primary reason for the rise in total imports during the month, growing by $25 million. This is attributed to purchases of telecommunications equipment valued at $17 million. Notable decreases were recorded for imports of mineral fuels and lubricants, chemical products, and goods destined for Belize's commercial-free zones and export processing zones. $5 million less was spent on mineral fuels and lubricants, despite the importation of a shipment of premium fuel in April 2016. For the first 4 months of 2016, merchandise imports totaled $631.6 million, which represents a 2.4% or $15.6 million decrease. The total value of Belize's domestic exports was $37.6 million, down 34.3% or $19.6 million from this same period last year. Sugar was the biggest contributor, with earnings falling from $14.4 million to $0.4 million. Banana, crude petroleum, and marine exports also fell during the month, with earnings declining by a combined $5.6 million. Citrus was the only major export to see some growth, increasing by $1.2 million from $14 million. Merchandise exports for the period January to April totaled $141.6 million, down 29.5% or $59.1 million. Marine exports recorded the biggest drop in export earnings, falling by over $22 million. This is attributed to the shrimp industry being in the process of restocking its ponds. The job of a police officer can be very stressful at times. Every day, while officers take on their daily duty, sometimes they are unable to cope with their own problems. This is what investigating officers of the Queen Street Police Station are trying to figure out after an incident occurred last night at the station. PC Edward Gonzalez received a gunshot wound to his head, reportedly at his own hands. Assistant Commissioner of Police Desiree Phillips of Eastern Division North spoke to the media about the ongoing investigations.
From what we were able to gather so far is that Mr. Gonzalez was on duty at the police station along with other police officers. He was standing outside conversing with 2 other police officers, and it was in that process of conversing with them that he reportedly took his licensed firearm and fired 1 single shot to the head.
Many officers knew Gonzalez well, as he was in the force for 12 years. Assistant Commissioner of Police Edward Broster of Rural Eastern Division addressed the issue of the employee assisted program provided by the government for officers who need help.
He was very jovial and so forth. So it is very difficult for us at times to identify when officers are going through problems. But nonetheless, we have a very effective employee assisted program through the Ministry of Public Service, where we have a cadre of counselors that are provided for officers who we believe needs counseling, and some of them who would volunteer to be counseled as well. As a matter of fact, there were 2 officers who witnessed the shooting, and already Ms. Phillip will be able to speak to this, that we have had counselors brought in and are counseling them. But we can only do so much and identify certain problems, but there are some underlying problems that we may never be able to identify and get that individual help.
Assistant Commissioner Phillips added that there were no signs from Gonzalez that he was depressed. While rumors have been swirling following Gonzalez's death, Assistant Commissioner Phillips says they are at a loss.
Nothing of that sort. That's the troubling part. Like I said, he was just being himself. He was joking with them. It was like a split second something, just in the split seconds of a moment. He was laughing, talking with them. One went inside the police station to get a cup of coffee while leaving the other one having a coffee with him. And that just happened.
Gonzalez leaves behind his 13-year-old daughter. On the other side of town, an officer who works at the Raccoon Street police station tried to take his life as well. On Monday night, an officer drank poison, which almost took his life. The officer did not die, however, he is still hospitalized. Assistant Commissioner of Police Chester Williams spoke about the issue since he is head of Eastern Division South.
Yes, there was an incident on, I think, Monday night where a police officer who is assigned to Precinct 2 apparently drank some noxious substance and was rushed to the KHMH. He is currently in the hospital, admitted in a stable condition. From what we have been made to understand is that he is slowly recovering and he should make a full recovery in a very short space of time.
This officer remains in a stable condition. Funeral services for former government minister Eligio Joe Briceño took place today in Orange Walk Town. Hundreds of family and friends gathered at the La Immaculada Church to say farewell to the man known fondly as Don Joe. On hand for today's official service were a number of government ministers and former colleagues of Briceño. Sharing his recollection was former Prime Minister Right Honorable Said Musa.
In his heyday, Joe Briceño was a consummate politician. Tip O'Neill, a former Speaker of the GIS Conference, once described and once said that all politics is local. Joe Briceño exemplified the truth of that statement. Orange Walk District was Joe Briceño's stomping ground. Orange Walk Town was his hometown. And he spent his 2 terms as an elected representative and minister in the BUP governments, 1974 to 1979, and 79 to 84, working to serve the people of this nation, and especially the beloved people of the Orange Walk district. He pursued many projects, and we heard the Honorable Boots Martinez refer to some of them a while ago, for the growth and development of our nation. Joe Briceño was skilled in the rough and tumble of politics, especially when he was fighting for the carreras of the North. We've come a long way, Joe, from those early days, but the struggle still continues. The cane farmers are once again going through a very difficult time. Joe Briceño was a fierce nationalist. We were colleagues together in the BUP government of 79, fighting for the independence of Belize. This was the cabinet led by Premier George Grant.
As we reported, Briceño, who is the father of the leader of the opposition, John Briceño, died over the weekend after a prolonged illness. The Council of Human Rights Defenders consists of the 7 Central American countries: Belize, El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, and Panama. Every year, the presidency of the council rotates among the member states. This year, the Ombudsman of Belize, Lionel Arzu, will assume the presidency of the council. Arzu will assume the position during the visit of the current president of the council, which is happening this week. The council will be hosting a forum to discuss the topic of internal displacement and forced migration. In closed meetings, the Council will also be discussing other topics and plans. Arzu will be expected to have mandate over various issues, including sharing his opinion on topics of national and regional concerns. Restore Belize has received needed funds for their I Am Belize scholarship program. The program began in 2010 with a goal to assist students through scholarships, community empowerment that enables personnel empowerment, social participation, and productivity. Today, Belize Electricity Limited signed a memorandum of understanding with Restore Belize, which covers a grant of $36,000. Senior Program Officer of Restore Belize, Roger Bradley, spoke about the purpose of the program.
The overarching goal of the program is community empowerment that enables personal development, social participation, and productivity for a fair and just society. It is aimed at assisting students from economically challenged circumstances to complete their secondary education. The whole idea of the program is to enable our students to eventually become productive citizens in the future. The program's main objectives are to increase secondary school completion rates among the most vulnerable populations, to provide secondary school age children with all the services needed for maximizing their education, making healthy life decisions, and becoming productive citizens, and third, to improve community participation and leadership among youth.
One of the recipients for 4 years of the I Am Belize Scholarship Program is 16-year-old Afeni Lewis, who will be graduating from the program. She spoke to Love News about how she benefited from this program.
It has been a great experience for the 4 years. I was enrolled in First Farm. Now I'm graduating. We had endless fun with the recipients. We went on trips, and every Friday we have meetings to socialize with each other and to become one with each other for the Restore Belize Scholarship. Restore Belize is like your parents. They're there for you when you need them. They're providing you with whatever you need. If you need a mentor or finances that doesn't come under the Restore Belize Scholarship, they're there providing you for you emotionally and mentally. My mom is a single parent, and she's working on her own to finance me and my sister to go to high school, and so they have been a major part of my life since First Farm.
Vanetta Burrell, Public Relations Manager at BEL, stated their gratitude to be able to help students complete their studies.
On behalf of Belize Electricity Limited, we just want to say thanks to Restore Belize for giving us the opportunity to partner with them to provide funding for this much needed and successful program. We were contacted by the organization, and we were impressed with the way their scholarship program is managed, and also for the far-reaching impact it has on our communities, children in communities that may not have had the opportunity to finish their high school education. So we're happy to be here today to provide a 4-year commitment at a total of $36,000.
Since its inception, the program has assisted over 200 students and has had 38 graduates. This week, as part of Education Month, the Ministry of Education is highlighting vocational training across Belize. Love News visited the Skills Training Center, where an open day was underway, with students showcasing their works. We spoke with manager of the center, Erin Oshon.
This center serves, I would say, disadvantaged young people who may have fell out of the regular system between standards 4 and second form, between the ages of 12 and 19 years old. Okay? So they would enroll here to do a skill. This center really came about, it's a vision from the minister. We must give him his credit, because it was his vision that really translates into this institution that helps to alleviate the crime that was so prevalent out there. And the students enroll here and they could get a skill along with other foundational courses that prepares them to either move on to get reintegrated into the regular system of schooling, or they could get into the world of work or open their own business as an entrepreneur.
Students from the barbering class, the computers repair center, and the arts class shared their experiences at the skills training center.
I don't know if I like cut people. I don't know if I like cut people on summits, like I don't know if I do design on summits. It make a good start for me, miss, cause anytime when you don't come out of school, miss, yeah, good for like make your do your own position on summits, make your only shop, whatever way to do it. Like.
Basically, when I came here, I wanted to learn about how to fix a computer, and I took the course because I wanted to learn how to fix computers and how to know how a computer works. And I learned how to disassemble a computer, assemble a computer, what are the different components in a computer, how to maintain a computer in a healthy state, and how to basically fix computers now. One of my goals that I have now since I'm graduating from this skills training center is I want to go to Sixth Farm.
The center caters to 100 students who come mainly from the Belize district. The center offers training in front desk barbering, arts and crafts, and PC repairs. Public Service Information Day was held today at the IT Vet campus in Belize City. About 14 agencies that form the public service shared information with the public. Public Relations Officer for the Public Service, Lennon Cayetano, spoke with Love News about this event.
It's actually the Public Information Fair, and it will be happening throughout the country. Today is Belize City, tomorrow we move to Corozal, and then we go on to Belmopan, San Pedro, and then Dangriga. What it actually does, it actually highlights the entire public service, what we do, what we offer in terms of our services. So you'll see within the public service we have 14 departments, so you'll see representation from most of these departments to showcase what the public service is all about, and in terms of the services that we provide in the ministry. There are 14 ministries. We have from the police officers, we have from income tax, we have the elections and boundaries, and the list goes on. So it is a vast, we represent the biggest employer in the country, 13,000 plus employees. So you'll see representation from almost all the 14 ministries, if not all.
Visiting the booths at IT Vet was Minister of the Public Service, Frank Mena. Mena shared the work that he has accomplished in the public service and the vision to see the department as a customer-centric place.
The decisions that are made is really pivotal in terms of people's lives, and so our focus is on customer service, and so that the customer has a great experience. We know that from time to time the public service gets a black eye, but that is not a grandeur or a large representation of what the public service really is. Public service is a place where things are done, but our priority is now what customer service and our ability to deliver a great customer experience. That in itself will thrust us forward. When people get better experience, when you walk into the immigration or the customs department, or you walk into the natural resources or lands, or you walk into the treasury department, wherever you walk in, the experience you get should be one that is gratifying.
A similar event will take place in every district during the course of this week. Love News visited the Community Rehabilitation Department, which hosts the Employee Assistance Program. The services offered in the program are for public officers only. A number of Belize City police officers visit the Community Rehabilitation Department, whether it is by referral or voluntarily. We spoke to the coordinator of the Employee Assistance Program, Sean Vargas, who told us about the number of police officers they have seen since the program began last year.
Since the program started in March of 2015. It was officially launched by then Minister Charles Gibson in 2015. And we have seen since then, I think, just over 100 police officers in terms of referrals to our offices. And we don't see police officers only in Belize City. We work countrywide. We've seen officers around the country. Officers are referred for varying reasons, and some of them are self-referrals where they don't access the program through their superior officers or through the police department. They would make contact with me personally. Among the many services that we provide specifically for officers when referral is made or self-referrals, it varies at an assessment stage here. What we do the preliminary work here before we do further referral to a practitioner outside of the Ministry of Public Service. We operate that way because we want to keep the confidentiality of the program, the sanctity of the program. So we operate on with private counselors countrywide, and we give the police officers whatever attention they would need based on the referral and the assessment.
We ask the process followed when persons come in for assistance who are depressed or even suicidal.
If a suicidal case is referred to us, we provide immediate assistance to that officer, whether at the assessment stage or we move immediately to a practitioner. And based on the assessment of that individual, there are certain things that are put in place. The officer go on watch, depending on the assessment or the evaluation from the practitioner or myself. That officer goes on watch for the main purpose of safety, and whether it means that a family member stays up with that individual, or to the point that that individual has direct contact where a call is made whenever the suicidal ideations are manifesting itself, or whether that person needs to be kept in isolation to ensure that individual doesn't commit harm to himself.
Vargas spoke to Love News about the types of patients they receive not only from police officers but also from other public officers.
Can't speak specifically within the police department, but I will say what we have seen at the Employee Assistance Program for the entire public service in terms of referral matters. They're consistent with stress and depression, some level of drug abuse, and we provide the attention that is needed for individuals who access the program. No, so that is how we try our best to afford it. And we have to remember that confidentiality is important, and that is one of the things that we strive on. The program can only succeed if we protect the confidentiality of public officers. Stressful being a police officer. We're speaking specifically relating to the police officer. I believe any security service personnel, whether the Belize Police Department, the Belize Defense Force, or the National Coast Guard, is stressful. There are several factors that would contribute to that. When they're away from their family a lot, it is a high-stress job. It is a high-stress job, and you're working within the public service, so there is no great remuneration for your services. So anything within the security services, it's a high-stress job.
The 6th Annual Belize Esri User Conference, BEUC, began today to promote Geographical Information Systems, GIS. GIS is used to create spatial pictures of data in the form of maps, globes, reports, and charts. GIS can be used in schools and businesses for a faster and more efficient way to access data. Loretta Palacio, Managing Director of Total Business Solutions, spoke about the theme for this year and how it ties into promoting GIS.
Our team is Location Intelligence Drives Business Strategies. So we're here to build on what we did last year and the previous years. Esri has a platform. As you said, it's the world's leading mapping software company, and businesses use systems, accounting software, HR software, distribution software. Underlying under that is the Esri platform, because you will agree that most data have a location component. So if you're talking about a building, there's a location element. If you're talking about land, there's a location element. It has a location, a latitude and a longitude. So a GIS takes a latitude, longitude, and then affix that to your business data, to our landscape, to our conservation protected areas. It adds it to our stores, right? Our schools. And so we are able to make better decisions. If we're building roads, we can measure how much material is required. We can understand the amount of labor that is required. We can do math, we can do reading, we can do science. When we're looking at soil type analysis, we have to use a GIS because we're talking 8,000 plus square miles.
Palacio spoke about the adaptation of GIS in Belize and the feedback from the education system to implement GIS in schools.
We're not only here to say GIS for business, but we're also saying GIS for our education system. And Minister Farber has been very receptive. Is actually supporting our conference, and we're looking forward to helping his ministry in promoting, in incorporating GIS in the curriculum for Belize education system. We're making strides because I was just looking at the audience, the attendees. We have new people, and I measured how we're making strides, how we're improving by just the attendees. We don't have the same people coming each year there. We have new people added to the people who come. And so various sectors are understanding how GIS can be used to support their work.
The conference will last 2 days with a number of speakers. Business and the public are invited to participate in the free conference that is happening at the Best Western Biltmore Plaza in Belize City. The race for deputy party leader of the United Democratic Party will culminate this Sunday. Leading up to the UDP's big day, Mena spoke about his support for Minister of National Security John Saldiva.
I am with Honorable Saldiva, and what I've been avoiding saying too much, because at the end of the day we all need to live with each other, and I have seen how the political process has destroyed many of us. At the end of the day, I have to sit around the table with any of these brothers, but my support is for John Saldiva.
Minister Frank Mena commented on the friction that the race for deputy party leader is having on the United Democratic Party. Mena said there is no need for the conflict.
At the end of the day, we all need to live with each other, and I have seen how the political process has destroyed many of us, especially in our little niche, in our little crevices and corners. And so I respect whoever anybody supports, respect, but there is no need to be getting all hyped up. And people have a right to make the decisions that they want. You cannot be upset with me for the decision I make, and I cannot be upset with you for the decision you make. But as well, we need to be mature about it, and you cannot use an opportunity. How could you attack each other? And I am not a proponent of getting caught in the tug and war. At the end of the day, I have to sit around the table with any of these.
On Tuesday morning, about 6 o'clock, San Ignacio Police and the K9 unit executed searches on the banks of the McCall River in Santa Elena town. This led to the discovery of a red and white knapsack containing a yellow crocus bag with green vegetable substance suspected to be cannabis. It was brought to the San Ignacio police station, where it was weighed and amounted to 1,429 grams. Later that same day, search was conducted in an abandoned lot in the Hot Point area, also in Santa Elena town, which led to the discovery of a red bucket with white cover containing 6 black plastic bags with green vegetable substance suspected to be cannabis under an abandoned cement building. Further searches behind the same building under some dry grass led to the discovery of a 12-gauge Remington pump-action shotgun. Both items were taken to the San Ignacio police station, where the drugs was weighed, amounting to 2,141 grams. In both cases, no one was in the area, and so the items were deposited as found property. Last, we told you about the police department's newest initiative for community-oriented policing, Launch with a Cop. The initiative is to meet with the community in an informal setting to discuss concerns. Today we spoke to Assistant Commissioner of Police Desiree Phillips about the launch of the program that takes place tomorrow at the Ramada Princess Hotel.
We recognize that there is increasing need for the police department to bond and foster more relationship with the community. And as far as we are concerned, this lunch with a cop concept is an extension to our weekly meet and greet, where there is no agenda. As Mr. Airwood said, us divisional commanders, the Commissioner of Police will be joining us, the precinct commanders, and we will sit and have lunch at the Ramada Princess tomorrow from 11:30 to 1. We're inviting anybody and everybody from the community to take some time, come out, meet us, sit down, chat with us while you have a little bite yourself at your own cost. And it's an informal setting. There is no agenda. There is no set questions. It's just to build and foster additional support and partnership with the community.
Joining the initiative is Assistant Commissioner of Police Chester Williams. He told us where they got this idea for the initiative from.
If you recall that we recently went to Boston on a working visit, and it is something that we saw in Boston and we're trying now to replicate it in Belize, and we're hoping that it can assist us in terms of how we interact with the public, and it is through an informal setting, as Ms. Phillips has said, where we sit with different people from the public who want to come. We're not inviting anyone in particular. Anyone can come and sit with us. And so, as was said in an interview Mr. Brasa gave to you people a couple months ago, that there are some things that we saw in Boston that we want to do in Belize. This is one of those such things that he was talking about.
If you want to meet with the officers, the dinner takes place at the Ramada Princess from 11:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. To motivate the different departments under the public service to provide better customer service, the public service has come up with an excellency competition among the departments. Supervisor of Quality Assurance at the Ministry of Public Service, Freya Parham-August, shared what the competition is all about.
Within the ministry, our focus has been and continues to be even more so around excellence in service, hence the Service Excellence Competition. This competition, however, also incorporates the different components that are required for service to be offered at that level. So it is important that whenever departments or ministry are identifying these initiatives, we want for it to be inclusive of the ideas from within the staff. You would find that when staff or employees are engaged, the service that they offer to their public would be even better. So the Service Excellence Competition seeks to highlight new services, new interventions that the different ministries or departments are engaging in to showcase and to improve its service to the wider public.
Parham-August also spoke about the lucrative prize that the winning department will receive.
The winning ministry or department will be recognized at the award ceremony that is to be held at the award ceremony, which is going to be on the 23rd of June. There is a very attractive prize. For the winners, I believe it should be a total of like $9,000 in prizes between first, second, and third for the winning department. Who comes up with the most innovative service that reaches the customer and have an impact on the people we serve.
The competition will culminate on June 23rd when the winning department will be recognized at the Public Service Awards ceremony. Our thought conditioner for today comes from Martin Luther King Jr. It reads, quote, "Everybody can be great because anybody can serve. You don't have to have a college degree to serve. You don't have to make your subject and verb agree to serve. You only need a heart full of grace and a soul generated by love." End of quote. This has been the evening news on Love Television, and we invite you to log on to our website at www.lovefm.com for transcripts of our news stories. Thank you for watching. Have a safe and enjoyable evening. I am Taryn Butcher.